Hello and welcome again to Practice Group International. My name is Mr. Hearn and I am your TOEFL tutor. In this video, we're going to talk about the writing section. Please watch the video all the way through because throughout the video, I give you little tips that will help you raise your score significantly. And if you miss something, you could lose that score and have to take the test again. And as you know, this test is very expensive. So let's get into it. The TOEFL writing section basically reintroduces two of the questions from the speaking section that you've already done. One is the integrated task, and the other is the independent task. The integrated task is the one where you have to read part of a passage, listen to a lecture that's related to that passage, and then answer in writing in this case. In this video, because of the visuals, rather than refer you to purchasing my book, I'm going to use the book to demonstrate the different ways to take notes and how to do an outline for your essays. So let's take a look at how to write the essays. In many ways, taking the writing section is made easier because it tests the same skills you've already mastered in the first three sections. In fact, the two questions that you will encounter in the writing section are very similar to the questions 1 and 3 of the speaking section. The difference is that you'll be typing your responses rather than saying them. In other words, these questions should not intimidate you because your responses to the writing tasks will follow the same patterns as your responses to the speaking section. If you want to know how to structure your responses in the writing section, look at how sentences and paragraphs are structured in the speaking section and follow their example. With a little practice, using the correct structures, many students find the writing section to be a little easy. Your first writing task will require you to both read and listen to passages on a related topic. So you'll need to leave your headset on. Your essay must be typed, so you should have a familiarity with the American style of keyboard you're going to use before you take the TOEFL iBT. Although the program used for the TOEFL writing section has cut, copy, and paste functions, we strongly suggest against using these functions for two reasons. First, it is much more difficult to restructure something when it is already written. In other words, it is far easier to write your original ideas without copying anything from the text. Second, if you copy too much from the original text and make it your own, you could receive a score of 0 on this task. Once you enter a college or university, copying material and representing it as your own is known as plagiarism and is a big academic no-no. A student can be punished for such an offense and even expelled from the college or university. What's more, once being expelled for plagiarism, a student may find it very difficult to be accepted by any other college or university. Therefore, follow these instructions to assure high writing section score and avoid these problems. Listen, if you copy anything word for word from the test, that will be considered plagiarism and your score will be simply canceled, and you will not be allowed to take the TOEFL again. Let me make that clear. If you copy anything word for word and deliver it as your own, your score will be canceled, and you will not be allowed to take the TOEFL again. So this is very important. Scoring the writing section. Your written responses will go to ETS's online scoring network. Now, these responses are scored by both human and AI, which is artificial intelligence, programs who will rate a score of 0 to 5 according to the rubric used for the writing section. The average of the two writing scores is then converted to a TOEFL scale score of 0 to 30. Scoring for the writing section. Your written responses will go to ETS's online scoring network. These responses are scored by both human and AI programs, artificial intelligence, who will rate your score of 0 to 5 according to the rubric used for writing section. The average of the two writing scores is then converted to a TOEFL scale score of 0 to 30. Now, let me make this clear. When you write your essay, the graders don't care what your opinion is, how you feel about something. All they are looking for is, did you follow the rubric? There are 5 major points to hit on the rubric, and if you hit those 5 points, you win. So when you're writing your essay, it's important to hit the points on the rubric. This is the writing score translation. What this is if you score your holistic score, that's your score of 0 to 5, how does that translate to your overall score? I'm providing this because it's very difficult to find this information, and you really want to know how will you score on your actual essay when you're practicing. So it's like this. If you score a perfect 5 on each of your essays, then you'll score a TOEFL score of 30. If your combined score, that is the average of the 2 essay scores, is 4.5, you score 28. If your combined score is 4.0, then your TOEFL score is 25. And if your combined score is 3.5, your TOEFL score is 20. I don't go below 20 because my students never score below 20. The average is 25, and this is why. You want to make sure that you follow the rubric. When you follow the rubric, you get a high score. So when we're talking about the average, let's say that on one of your tests that you get a 3.0, and the other test you get a 4.0. Then your average score is 3.5, and 3.5 scores 22. If you can raise your score up by simply following the rubric by 1 point, then you can score a 4.0 on both of your essays, and that scores a 25. I know, right? It seems so easy. Let me explain something to you that might take some of the pressure off. Most people think that they start with a score of 0 and have to improve and write the best essay ever to score a 30. But it's simply not true. No one is going to win the Pulitzer Prize for writing the best essay. No university or job is going to call you and say, wow, I read your essay on the TOEFL. You're a genius. We want you here with us. It isn't going to happen. Keep it simple, direct, to the point. Just write according to the rubric and you win. If you look for the rubric in the different books and on the ETS website, I have found that that rubric is quite confusing and difficult to understand. You almost have to be an English professor at a university to understand what the rubric means. So as you know, I like to simplify everything. So this is the rubric in simple language. Number 1, you must speak and or write in English only. English only. That should seem simple, but if you write in a language other than English, you will score a 0. Regardless of how good the rest of your essay is, if you put words in there that are not in English, you'll score a 0. So the first thing is, number 1, write everything in English. Number 2, for question number 1, that's your integrated task, you must answer the questions clearly and accurately, stating the relationship between the 2 passages, using your notes to summarize the information from both passages. Let me explain. There's a reading passage and a listening passage. You will hear the listening passage only once, but you will have access to the reading passage. So most students write all about the reading passage and they forget to take notes or mention the listening passage. If you want to get a high score, be sure to take notes for the listening passage and integrate it into the essay. For question number 2, that's your independent task. For your question, and you must use relevant reasons, examples, and details to answer your questions. You're going to state which choice you think is better and state why, using reasons, examples, and details. They must be related to your main point. Number 3, you must state the details accurately in the order they appear in the listening passage for one of the types of questions in the integrated task, and I'll get more into that later. Otherwise, Make sure that you state all of your information accurately. Number 4, you must use connection words and phrases to join your ideas. Now, this is very important. Remember, we have only 5 points. And if you miss one, you've already dropped your score. So when I say that you have to use connection words and phrases, however, furthermore, on the other hand, because, use your connection words and phrases, most students lose a major point right here. Okay? Your grammar may not be great. Your English level may not be perfect. And you can still score well on your essay. However, if you leave out the connection words and phrases, automatically drop a point. So definitely want to use this. And number 5, you must use proper grammar and vocabulary. Now listen, this is very important. We often try to write really, really good essays. And by doing so, we make more mistakes. It is better for you to write well within your level than it is to try to write at a higher level. We can't do things we don't know how to do. So when you try to write at a higher level, all you do is mess it up. Don't try to use words you don't know, because you may use those words incorrectly and lose a point. Boom, just like that. It's better to write well at your level. Using proper grammar, what do I mean by that? Well, it isn't as difficult as you might think. Using proper grammar has a lot to do with subject-verb agreement and your subject-pronoun agreement and your genders, just like in the speaking section, right? When you have a singular subject, you must use a singular verb. When you have a plural subject, you must have a plural verb. When you have a singular pronoun, when you have a singular subject, you must have a singular pronoun. Plural subject, plural pronoun. When it's the man speaking, say he, him, and his. When it's the woman speaking, it's she, her, or hers. Quite often, students will say, the man says that she, well, that is a mistake, and you'll be deducted 1 point. So if you want to get a high score, stick to the rubric. Now, you must answer questions by clearly stating either your choice or your position on the given statement. Your essay must be well organized, coherent, and must flow well. You must support your thesis with reasons, and those reasons must be well developed using relevant examples and details. Furthermore, you must use connection words and phrases to join your ideas and use proper grammar and vocabulary. You must answer your questions in English only. Remember, the graders know that this is essentially a rough draft, so it's acceptable to have some spelling and grammar mistakes in your essay, but overall, intelligibility must be high. You must be able to understand what you're writing. Let's look at the different question types. The integrated task, that's question number 1. The integrated writing task requires you to read, listen, and write. You will have 3 minutes to read and take notes on a short reading passage, that's 230 to 300 words, of an academic topic. Be sure to take notes of the main points in the reading passage so that you will be better able to take the notes of the related topics in the listening part. After the 3 minutes, the reading passage will go away, and you will then listen to a speaker talk about the same topic from a different perspective. The listening passage will provide either additional or more detailed information about the topic in the reading passage. The listening passage is approximately 2 minutes long, so it is important that you take notes while you listen. Be sure to list the details accurately and in the order they relate in the listening passage. Once the listening passage is done, you will begin writing your essay. You will not hear the listening passage again, but will have access to the reading passage for reference. Finally, you will be given the task of writing a comparison summary of the 2 passages, stating the main points from the listening passage and how they relate to the main points in the reading passage. These 2 passages will either support or oppose each other. The suggested length of your response is 150 to 225 words, a little longer than the length of the paragraph you've just read. The writing time is 20 minutes. If your practice essays for the integrated task are 250 words or more, it means that you're over-explaining things. And wordiness, when you over-explain something, wordiness is a cause to deduct 1 point. So you keep your sentences concise and just use the information they give you. There's no need to explain anything. The graders don't care what you think. They do not want your interpretation. They want you to simply state the information that you've read and heard in the order that you heard it, clearly, accurately, and concisely. The most important thing for this section of the test, taking notes. Taking notes on the writing section of the TOEFL iBT is essential for getting a high score. You should take notes of the main topic and main points of the reading and listening passages for the first question. Then use your notes to make your response. Use the outline shown below to organize your notes. So for question number 1, integrated task type number 1. Remember earlier I said there are 2 types of integrated tasks. This is the most common. So let's take a look at the structure. There are 2 types of integrated task questions. In this type, the reading will state a main topic supported by 3 to 5 main points with related details. And the listening passage will have the same main topic while matching the reading point for point. The points from the listening passage will either support or oppose the reading passage. Using this template will help you to take accurate notes and to be able to quickly and accurately relate the different topics in your essay. Notice how they're side by side. Most of my students, when they first come, they're taking notes from top to bottom. And that's very difficult to try to relate something from the listening passage to the reading passage and back and forth. You can easily get confused. When writing it in this fashion, you put your related topics side by side. Notice that on the listening side, that it has the numbers out of order. Here it's 312. It could be 213, 231. Whatever it is, just make sure that whenever the listening starts, whatever topic that they're talking about, put it directly next to the same main topic from the reading. In other words, the topics from the listening are out of order from the topics in the reading. But put those topics in order on your listening side. If you have any questions about this, please email me. I'm happy to clarify things. The essay structure for this type of question, in question number 1, if your reading passage is in the form of a main topic, followed by several related main points, begin your essay with a paragraph that briefly summarizes both the reading and listening passages and clearly states the relationship between the two. Follow the first paragraph with a separate paragraph for each main topic. Write the body paragraphs in the order the information appears in the listening section. And be sure to state the relationships between the reading and listening sections for each main point. When complete, this essay will have an introduction paragraph and a body paragraph for each main point. That is to say, if you have 3 main points, you have 3 body paragraphs or 4 paragraphs total. Question number 1, integrated task type 2. In the other type of integrated task, the reading may state a problem or proposed solution and desired result. In the listening passage, the professor will restate the problem and then talk about what actually happened when the proposal was put into practice. Using the structure illustrated provided will enable you to take notes that will relate the details accurately in the order they appear in the passage. By using this template, you will be able to take notes quickly and accurately. In the reading section, you're going to write down the problem. Write down the discussion of the possible solutions. You don't have to write full sentences, just the main points, because you're going to see this whole thing again. Then write down the proposed solution. In the listening, be certain to write what happened with the actual outcome. You're going to relate your essay by stating what happened in the order that it happened from the listening section. Essay structure for the second type of question, number 1. So this is the essay structure for type 2 of question number 1. If your reading passage is in the problem solution form, begin your essay with an introduction paragraph that summarizes both passages and states their relationship. Write your supporting paragraphs as a summary of both passages. Be sure to state the problem, proposed solution, and desired outcome accurately and in order they appeared in the reading passage. Finally, begin your third paragraph with a statement of the relationship between the reading and listening passage, and then state what was discussed in the listening passage accurately and in the order the information appeared. In other words, this will be a 2-paragraph essay. 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph will be about the reading section and will state what the problem was, what the possible solutions are, and then what the desired outcome would be. Be concise, to the point. The second paragraph will be about what was stated in the listening section and state the relationship of those points from the listening section to the reading section. Be sure to relate them. If you don't state the relationship between the two, that's a major loss of points. I don't think you can even score above a 3 if you don't state the relationship. Note, regardless of which type you have on your TOEFL iBT, keep your essay to just summarizing the main points and stating the relationship between the reading and listening sections. Important, you must state from which passage you are relating the information from. Be sure to state your source. For information from the reading passage, write the reading states. And for information from the listening passage, write in the listening the professor says, to indicate specifically where the information is from. Ambiguous essays lose points. Now for the independent task, which is the second question on your writing test. The independent writing task consists of one question that requires you to either make a choice between 2 options or to state whether or not you agree with a given statement. You should make an outline of your basic ideas first and then write a 5-paragraph essay that states your choice or your position on the statement, your reasons for making your statement supported by examples and details. Be sure to use related reasons, examples, and details to support your response. You must use connection words and phrases to connect your ideas. The suggested length for this task is 300+ words. You will have 30 minutes to write your response. Now let me tell you exactly what most students do that gives them a low score here. After stating your choice or whether you agree or disagree, you must have reasons, examples, and details. Most of my students give their reason, but they lack in examples and details. So when you're writing, be sure to have all 3 of these supporting ideas. Also, big, the connection words and phrases are vital to your score. Again, if you leave out the connection words and phrases, that's one major point. When we only have 5 points to begin with, losing 2 of those points lowers your score significantly. So, elements of a high-scoring essay. Elements of a high-scoring essay. Remember, don't follow templates. Woo! Do not follow templates. The humans and the AI know about the templates, and they reduce your score if you use them. We don't want to use templates, but you do want to use a good structure, right? So these are the elements of a high-scoring essay. Your essays answer the questions and written in English only. Your essay is clearly organized, coherent, and flows well. Your thesis statement is supported by relevant reasons, examples, and details. Your paragraphs are sufficiently developed. Your essay demonstrates proper use of English grammar and word use. such as vocabulary, and your essay is at least 300 words in length. So to make that clear, if you don't write in English, you lose a point. In fact, if you write in another language, you get a 0. Doesn't matter how well the rest of it is, you get a 0. So make sure you write in English. Number 2, clearly organized, coherent, flows well. This is why we're doing the outline. If you haven't been doing an outline in the past, you're going to do an outline. If you want to get a high score and not have to take this stupid test again, do an outline. And I'll show you how to do it. Your thesis statement is supported by relevant reasons, examples, and details. Have I said this before? Reasons, examples, and details. Yes, you must have all 3 of these to earn a high score. And sufficiently developed. When I say sufficiently developed, it means that your reasons, examples, and details relate back to the first paragraph, your main topic, your thesis statement. Always use connection words and phrases to relate it back to your main thesis statement. And demonstrates proper use of English grammar, word use, vocabulary. We've already talked about this. It's making sure for grammar that you have subject-verb agreement, subject-pronoun agreement, and that you have gender agreement. Now, I'm not going to go into this again. If you want to know, rewind and come back. Finally, essay is at least 300 words in length. That 300-word rule, that tells me that you have 3 reasons, examples, and details. Okay? If you don't have 3 reasons, let's say you have only 2 reasons. 2 reasons instead of 3. Well, if you have only 2 reasons why you support a certain thing, give me more examples and details. Okay? So don't worry about all the things you can't do. Let's concentrate on what you can do and use that to get you a high score. Essay structure. Writing an essay can be made easier by following a particular structure. Not a template, a structure. The 5-paragraph structure will help you to organize your ideas in a clear and intelligible manner. It will also help you to control your grammar if you don't have great grammar skills. This structure will also look familiar, as it is one of the most common structures used in most writing assignments. There are 3 parts to a 5-paragraph essay. Number 1, introduction. There's 1 introduction paragraph in which you will state your thesis, your position, followed by 3 sentences that state your supporting reasons. Keep in mind that this is an introduction paragraph. You're not going to explain the whole thing. Do not go into detail in this paragraph. Number 2, there are 3 body paragraphs, each beginning with 1 of your reasons, followed by supporting details and examples. In other words, if you have 1 reason, you have 1 paragraph. For each reason, you have a separate paragraph. And be sure to connect those paragraphs to each other and back to the original thesis statement. So number 3, the conclusion paragraph that restates your thesis statement and summarizes your essay. This ties the whole thing again, so it should be going full circle. Just a little hint for those of you who are really good at your English skills. Each paragraph should stand alone. In other words, I should know what the question is by reading each paragraph without having seen the question. Okay, let's talk about making an outline. As I've said, if you haven't been making outlines, there's a reason why your score isn't going up. This will really, really help, so let's do it. For this question, you should make an outline stating your thesis of whether or not you agree with the statement given in the question or your choice offered in the question. You should back up your responses with 3 reasons, related details, and examples that support them. Finally, you should end with a conclusion that summarizes your essay. Making an outline organizes your thoughts, helps you to write a more comprehensive essay. Use the structure below to make the outline. Listen to me, please. When we don't have an outline, my students get off track. In other words, they start talking about the main ideas, but then I don't know what they start talking about. They just have this idea that sort of meanders along. Woo! But when you have a structure and you're going point by point by point, your essay is fast, easy, and accurate. Okay, to show you about an outline, I'm going to use an example. I love examples because it's easier for me to understand. So I'm going to help you with this. To make the task easy, simply follow the structure provided. Sample question. Some students believe that it is better to study abroad, while others think it is better to study at a university close to their home. Which do you think is better? Give reasons and details to support your response. Note, your thesis statement is where you state whether you agree or disagree with the statement in the prompt, or state which you believe is better. So here is an example of the outline. Thesis statement, study abroad. Reason 1, learn about another culture. Detail, global market. Example, helps in business. Reason number 2, independence and responsibility. Detail, need to manage your own life. Example, scheduling time and budgeting money. Reason 3, self-confidence, overcoming fear, and never away from home before. Remember that this is just an outline. This is only a list of basic ideas to write about. Do not write long sentences here. This is not your essay. This is just some ideas that you're blurting out onto a piece of paper that you can write about later. Also, it makes it so much easier to write your essay because while you're thinking about your ideas here, you're actually creating the sentences in your head. And even though on your outline they're invisible, once you go to write your essay, you'll look at your little statement and you'll go, oh, I know what I'm thinking about. And you'll just write your sentence. Writing an introduction paragraph. Be sure to use your outline to write the introduction. And it's like this. Pick a side or state your position. The introduction paragraph is where you must state your thesis and introduces the 3 reasons you have that support it. The best way to write an introduction paragraph is to choose what you're going to write about first. As the first criteria for getting a high score is that you answer the question. Using your outline, write your first sentence in a way that leaves no doubt that you have answered the question. Begin your thesis statement with phrases such as, in my opinion, or I believe it is best. In those questions where it asks you to choose which one is better, state which one is better. So in your introduction, make it absolutely clear which position you're taking on the question. Support your thesis with reasons. It's going to be reasons, examples, and details. Follow your thesis statement, meaning your position of the topic, with 3 reasons that support your belief. Be sure to use connection words and phrases such as one reason, additionally, furthermore, moreover, and finally, to connect your reasons to your main thesis. Note, be sure to offer related reasons to the topic. Also, do not go into detail about your reasons in your introduction paragraph and never repeat the prompt word for word. Writing your body paragraphs. Woo, this is the meat of your essay. Body paragraphs are where you get to express your ideas fully by presenting your reasons supported by details and examples. The first sentence in a body paragraph is called the topic sentence. Your topic sentence should provide a connection to the main topic while clearly stating the main idea of the new paragraph. Use connection words or phrases to connect your topic sentence to the previous paragraph to give your essay a sense of continuity. You're going to use connection words and phrases such as first, second, third, finally, one reason, additionally, another reason, furthermore, moreover. If this is pretty vague and you'd like to have more information, please contact me for some personal Zoom classes, and I can give you some great examples of how to begin and write your body paragraphs. Writing your conclusion paragraph. The conclusion paragraph is basically a summary of your essay. It restates your beliefs and draws the information in your essay to a close. Without a conclusion paragraph, your essay may leave the reader wondering if something is missing or that the essay is incomplete. Your conclusion paragraph needs to have only 2 or 3 sentences that repeat your reasons and state why your opinion is correct. To make it clear that you are writing a conclusion paragraph, use transitions such as the following. As this essay is demonstrated, to sum up, in conclusion, as I've stated, and ultimately, but make sure all of these tie right back into your first paragraph, your introduction. Okay, so that may be long, but there's a lot of good information here. Be sure to follow it step by step and pay attention to the things that I've warned you about throughout the video. I hope this video has helped you. If so, please subscribe, share, like, and ring the bell because I'm making new videos as fast as I can. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm always happy to hear about my students, and leave comments below. As you can see by the comments that are already here, I do respond to all of you.